First things first, I'm laying on this, what do you call this?
The dental chair.
The dental chair with Dr. Duggal. Hello, hello.
Hi.
First, I want people to get to know who you are, where you're from, your name, your social security. No. A little bit about yourself and what are we doing here?
My name is Dr. Neesha Duggal. I am a native of Orange County, born and raised between Middletown and Goshen my whole life. Graduated Goshen High School many moons ago. And my father was actually a dentist. He is a retired dentist in Middletown for about 40 years. He came here in the late 70s and opened up his practice and has been a pretty prominent name in Middletown for a while. So I grew up around dentistry my entire life. After going away to school, coming back, doing my residency and my training, I decided that I was going to settle back in the area, and I opened my practice in Wurtsboro, which now we're going on about 18 years in private practice.
You, I guess, shadowed your father in this whole thing. Would you say that he had a hand or some sort of inspiration? I mean, looking up to him and what he had established in the community?
For sure. Our practices, well, they've become very different. The way I've kind of turned my practice values and sort of the focus of my office has turned in the past 10 years or so as I've grown. However, he was absolutely a mentor for me growing up, and just seeing the difficulties and the challenges and also the rewards that came with being a dentist. And that was something that really played a huge part in my decision to go into the field.
I've been to a lot of different dentist office and everyone seems to be the same. It's a one-way fits all when it comes to dentists and offices. What do you think makes your office different than everyone else's?
I'm going to ask a question back to you first. How do you feel that they feel very similar? Like, what, as a patient, what are your experiences?
The first thing that comes to mind when I think dentist, I think of sterile. Very cookie cutter, very serious, to the point, painful even in some occasions. I do not feel that at all when I'm here. The better question is, how is it that you've created such a unique culture in here that you can feel it from the minute you walk in through the doors?
First of all, thank you so much. That is very much one of our core goals in the practice. What's happened over the years is I've sort of shifted my focus from just fixing the teeth, making the teeth perfect, to addressing the whole person. And like I said, being in practice this long, I've been really fortunate to form like close relationships with a lot of my patients, to the point where they're like friends. They come in and we're talking to each other like we're friends. I've never been the type of doctor or clinician to sort of speak over you and tell you what's what. It's always a collaborative approach. The same goes for my entire practice. With my team, I am so fortunate to have like family working with me, close friends working with me, that we actually collaborate together. I don't treat anyone as if, oh, you're an employee and I'm an employer. That dynamic doesn't exist. We're very much a team. I pick their brains on everything. I ask for their advice or their support in every little thing when it comes to the practice. And I make sure that everyone's on board with major decisions that we're making. So that way everyone feels like this is truly their second home. That carries on to our patients. They come in and we want them to feel like this is a second home for them, that it is a place that we all are actually rooting for your dental health. It's like, what do you actually want and how can we help you get there? And then when you actually get there, everyone, like from us in the room to checking out the front, everyone's like literally cheering you on and so excited to like see you leave and see you feel better.
That's funny you say that because that is the feeling that I get walking in here every time, almost like a family. And it doesn't matter who's at the front desk. Everybody is very welcoming and I felt like you guys wrap me in your arms every time I'm in here. And it's so special. So I do want to praise you on that because like I said, and I know I'm not by myself out there where it's a lot of the dentist offices are very to the point, and I don't know, there's not that connection. So you've got something very special here. I know you must have some crazy story, a crazy client, a customer who's nuts, or I don't know, maybe just some really bad teeth that you've seen in your 18-year career.
A lot. We always joke. We always joke that like a dental office would be the wildest reality TV show like ever. We would do great if it wasn't for HIPAA, obviously, but every dentist has some crazy stories. I had one kid once, years and years ago, who asked me, why he was getting cavities. He was little. He was probably like 5 or 6. And I was like, oh, well, maybe you're having too much sugar. Maybe you're having too much candy. He's like, so he was like going back in his mind and he was like, does candy have sugar? I was like, yeah. And then he looked at me and he goes, does bacon have sugar? And I was like, no, kid, you're good. Like I wasn't gonna take that away from him. So, but then, yeah, and then it made me hungry. But, but no, we see, I mean, every dentist is going to see things that surprise them, right? But quite frankly, like I'm dealing with 2 young boys at home. Like not a lot scares me right now. I got a toddler and a 7-year-old. I'm working on teeth all day. Like it would take a lot to really surprise me. I feel like my threshold in general is a little higher than most. If I get spooked or freaked out, then it's bad. Then it's really bad. So
I'm glad you brought that up about, your family life and your boys. I think as business owners, we're constantly juggling family life versus business. And I don't know if you share my feelings where sometimes when I'm at the office, I feel like I should be home. And then when I'm home, I feel like I should be in the office. How do you juggle that, being you've been you're doing something right where you're a great mom from what we see, and then also you're running a successful business.
So that is something that's really close to my heart, the work-life balance, right? Speak to the heart of any mom, and you're going to talk to a mom about mom guilt. That is something that we all deal with, and it is not a joke. I was fortunate enough that I started my practice when I was young, way before I met my husband, way before I had kids. So that was the time that my head was down and I was in the hustle, right? I was working like 40, 50-hour weeks. I was killing it and I was doing what I had to because I also had the energy for it. I was younger, but I was really working hard to like build the practice. And then I got married and I was still working really hard. After I had my first son is when I started pulling back and adjusting my hours because it was really clear to me that like I wasn't going to get this time back with him. And I was fortunate enough that I had those relationships with my patients that they saw me through it. They saw me through my marriage. They saw me through my pregnancies. And they were actually so happy and understanding. And I've been incredibly fortunate to have this network of patients that are like, spend time with your boys, show us pictures of them as they're growing up, and we're here. And they've kind of adjusted their schedules with mine. So nothing changes in terms of their care. I'm still here, I'm still caring for them, but it's in a way that works for everyone now.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That is
I've been
amazing.
lucky.
And from what I've seen, you're doing it very well. I'll have to ask your boys about that, but
Well, this year I'm my son's class mom in second grade, so we'll
ah.
see we'll see how that goes.
Do you see any spark in them to maybe follow within your footsteps being a dentist and, your father's footsteps, or are they completely out there?
They're so young still that well, my older son is obsessed with cars. So at this point he just wants to be a mechanic and I'm all for that. He's like, give me any career that deals with cars. And I asked him about teeth and he was like, ew, gross. So like right now I can't say that that's what he wants to do. The baby, he's 2.5, so we're lucky if he's happy chasing pigeons.
Yeah.
Like he's okay. He's not thinking about careers yet.
So to wrap this up, this is about local businesses, local people in our communities making these towns great. What is one thing that you love about Orange County, Sullivan County, the outskirts of New York? Because I think New York is only known for New York City and what goes on down there. So, what is one thing that you love about this town, this county, something that you believe you can't find anywhere else?
Yeah, so I spent a lot of time in New York City, like 10 years of my life. So I was a real city girl at one point too. And I didn't know that I would come back here. At some point, you could have told me the opposite, that I would never come back upstate, right? But the growth and the change that I've witnessed in our area, especially in the past like 15 years or so, it's remarkable. We have a lot of diversity now. We have a lot of opportunity, and you still have a small town feel. No matter what, that concept of neighborhood and helping your neighbor and really like small businesses supporting one another, that type of opportunity and that type of relationship only exists in these small towns. And I tell people time and time again that like you can't find something more beautiful than the Hudson Valley. You think it's gorgeous in the summer, you wait until fall, and then you fall in love with it all over again. And then you're like, nothing could get better. And then the first snowfall hits, and you're like, God, this place is beautiful, you know? But at the same time, you're dealing with like this community of people that all want you to do better. They all want to help one another, which is really, I mean, it's as good as New York can get, you know?
Thank you so much for having us here for the interview,
Welcome.
Dr. Dougal. You're the best. And I'll end with this. This chair has been massaging me this entire time. I don't know who needs to hear this. We need this in every single room in here.
You get a massage every time you come in. So,
Thank you.
oh, you're so welcome.